everybody, welcome back to Gooner Gathering. My name is Gooner Lee Meads, but you already know that. But joining me today, he is the returning, the Mikel Arteta out enthusiast, the poshest man in sports entertainment today. Posh Bertie, hello. Fancy seeing you here.
Well, I could not be quiet over yesterday. What a result that was. I mean, look, yesterday was already a monumental occasion because yesterday is the 7th birthday of my two cats, Laurie and Hetty.
Oh, God bless them.
Oh, absolutely. They got extra treats yesterday, extra dreamies. And so
Nice.
already it was a special occasion. But just as well, there was a football match that happened as well yesterday at the Bernabeu Stadium between Real Madrid and Arsenal. It was all right, and I quite like to talk about that. So hence my sporadic return to the channel.
Well, you know, I mean, this is getting far too frequent for my liking. No, I'm joking. It's lovely to have. It is lovely to have you here. Obviously, the comments are open. If anyone wants to chime in and say hello, and I can see them there.
I'll tell everyone on the Twitter machine that I'm live now.
Absolutely. I'll briefly talk about the starting lineups just really quickly because it was actually unchanged completely from the first leg. So it was Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Kiviar, MLS at left back, of course, Thomas Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Saka, Marino, and Martinelli. I suppose with hindsight, I don't suppose you got too many complaints about that.
No, absolutely not. It was the lineup I would have gone for. I've no complaints about that whatsoever. It was now in the hands of the players to get the job done, see it out, and progress to the semi-finals.
It certainly was, but it started out a little bit nervously, I must say. I think you know, despite a 3-goal lead going into the Bernabeu, some might have had a few doubts going in. I don't think it would have helped people's nerves seeing the ball going in the net in 2 minutes. Vinicius Jr. did find Mbappe. He sort of turned around and chested the ball into the net, but he was about a million miles offside. I don't think that would have helped people's nerves somewhat, Posh, do you?
On your point of us feeling very nervous, the whole day I was, oh God, even though we had a 3-goal advantage, it was the Bernabeu and, you know, Arsenal being Arsenal, we've had our fair share of slip-ups throughout our history. And thank you very much. AFC always excellent. Very good to see you. But yeah, I was very nervous and it didn't help at all. Luckily, Mbappe was miles offside. And I thought, oh dear God, this is going to be a very long and excruciating 90 minutes. Hide behind the sofas and
get all the cushions out. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't the most auspicious of starts, but at 3-0, I genuinely coming into it, I actually felt quite confident, and I don't like to brag. You know, I don't do that, Posh. But I did call 3-0 last week, and I did actually call 2-1 yesterday as well.
Did you put a bet on?
I did, although I did bottle it. AFC always. Issues, the settings have all changed. What's happened here? Right, okay, I'll try that. Right. Over the 2 legs, we were better than Madrid. Defensively outstanding. Now let's go and win the damn thing. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we are talking about. I'm loving all that. Loving all that. Right. Let's carry on with the analysis. There's quite a period of play here I do need to talk about. It's the highs and it's the lows of
it's the ups and it's the downs.
Oh, why? Here's why. Right, we got to bring that up. It's WrestleMania week, mate. You know what I mean? Big time. Right. So let's bring it into the 7th minute we're at, and Bukayo Saka does his signature move, if you like. He cuts in from the right hand side, and then he gets onto that strong left foot, puts that bending shot towards the far post. Timo Courtois, in all fairness, makes an excellent save. And then we get to the controversy. And why I say it's controversial is that the corner came in. So I don't even remember who took it. It must have been Declan. It must have been Declan Rice who took it from there.
Yeah, I think it was.
And initially, to the naked eye, if you will, nothing really happened. Balls ended up in Courtois' hands. Play on. Now, about 3 minutes later, we are brought to the attention of the old VAR sign. And we're like, what's going on here? And I'll attempt the names here. Look, I'm no Spanish expert, unfortunately. But I believe his name's Raul Asensio.
Asensio, yeah.
Yeah.
The centre-back.
Yeah, that's the one. The one I actually I did make a point, I think, last week about saying he's the somewhat inexperienced one in that back line. He made a bit of a challenge on Marino, which led to a penalty being given by VAR. So I'll stop it there. I'll hand it to you. Your thoughts on that period of play from Saka earning the corner. Was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty for you, sir?
I think me and AFC always might differ. If he's talking about the Arsenal penalty that we got, I think it was a penalty. Asensio did bring him down quite aggressively. There was another penalty incident where it wasn't a penalty, but we'll get to that in a minute. It didn't help when the VAR was showing on the screen. The commentators were talking about something completely different.
I think they were caught.
They are us,
I think they were caught unawares as well, because there was I've taken the timestamps down, mate. So that corner was on the 7th minute. 8th minute, the corner came in from Rice. On the 10th minute, the referee's gone to the big screen. That is a huge amount of game time for him to go back to, I thought.
Yeah, this is our penalty for us we're talking about. I mean, considering how efficient the Champions League VAR and the Champions League officiating has been, it's quite a shame that it took so long to, for both penalties really, to be reviewed. But the ref went to the monitor, pointed to the spot. I was actually, funny enough, I was just saying, don't let Odegaard take it. Don't let Odegaard take it. He's out of form.
I was opposite.
Don't let Odegaard take it. And he gave it to Saka. Ironically, I was like, oh, thank God. Come on, Saka, you can do this. You've taken a lot of penalties in your time, and only 2 of them you've missed. You can do it. So I'll take it from here. Why? I mean, you've seen Bukayo Saka take penalties before. He missed 2 of them. 2 are very important, I get that. But most of the time, the penalties he's taken were just like any other penalty from any other player to be taken. A normal kick, and if he misses it, then that's unfortunate. But most of the time, he hits in the back of the net. So why, in God's name, in the biggest game possibly he has had, aside from the Euros final, the biggest game he's had at Arsenal, at the Bernabeu, why would he do a sodding Panenka?
It's beyond me, mate. I have no idea. I kind of wondered, did he even mean to do it? Did he mishit it? But no, I believe, in fairness to the kid, he goes on camera at the end of it, saying, look, I did try something. It didn't work, but you know what? It didn't didn't affect my game. I just carried on. I agree.
He got knocked down, but he got up again.
You're never going to keep him down.
No.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much for providing the TikTok of the evening. I appreciate that. So yeah, I don't know why he tried it. I don't know if he was trying to be flash. I don't know if he was trying to be cool, cocky, and bad. But be that as it may, I will credit the big goalkeeper, Timo Courtois, for making an excellent save. He read it, and you might be thinking, oh, that might be advantage Madrid in terms of momentum. But no, I don't necessarily think they dominated the play from there. But about 10 minutes afterwards, they get their own penalty, don't they? And what happened here, I will try and describe it, and then we'll.
Can I just also say on the Saka one? It's whilst he dealt with it fine after. Quite frankly, it was a bit foolish him doing the Panenka, but I'm just glad that we ended up going through, because if we ended up losing 4-0 and getting dumped out, a lot of the blame would have gone on Saka for missing the penalty. And
can you imagine?
Dread to think, without bringing it too much of a serious note, the level of abuse he would have got. And I think you know what I'm referencing.
I know completely what you're referencing.
Oh God.
Do you know what, Posh? I'm glad you brought this up.
But I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans like me would have called him Bukayo the bottle job for any
old excuse, mate.
Just to clarify, that's the form of criticism that would have been fine. But I think you're alluding to the horrible abuse he would have got if we ended up going out and it was a result of that. And I don't condone.
Well, let's go back to the Euro final. Let's just say it, Botch, because I'm big enough and the
racist abuse that he got in the Euros, and it would have been the same again if we went out.
And you know what? I will go as far as to say people were ready to throw him under the bus once the actual penalty was given for Madrid, because there was one commentator, I won't bring his name up because I don't think that's fair, but going, oh, that's all on you, Saka, that's all on you. And I'm like, no, not really. He's just taking a kick. He's not hit it right, clearly. I saw the comment, AFC Always, I see you there. Thank you very much for being here. Saying he meant to do it. You could tell by the run-up, but it was a very short run-up. But at this point, I will, if you don't mind, I'll describe the penalty, and then it sort of describes what I was talking about. So I believe it's a free kick. Vasquez takes that in the right back area. The flick on from the centre back who was involved in the penalty, I believe it was, Asensio. And then Mbappe kind of nosedives a little bit. I mean, minimal contact by Declan Rice. We all knew the situation that Declan was going into in the game.
Yeah.
Of course, if he picked up a yellow card, he would be suspended for the next European game, whether it be the semi-final or next season or whatever. But referee gave it without even thinking, I think. That's how I feel, like almost leveling it up a little bit. There was a huge wait here. I counted about 5-6 minutes for the decision to be made, but the referee was brave enough to say, you know what, I have made a mistake here. no penalty, rescinded the yellow card. So, your thoughts from there?
Well, as I said on Twitter, it was a complete farce. All this, like, such a long time as well. Was it 6 minutes, as you said?
Yeah.
Just, yeah, that's what annoys me about a VAR, because of sometimes it just takes forever to say, oh, have I made a mistake or not? Is this a penalty? But it wasn't. It was minimal contact really from Rice. There was even a question of a potential offside, which I don't think was the case. But I think the penalty it came out of nowhere. The penalty, and so it definitely surprised me. And when it was. You know what I was like. I was going, oh,
I can imagine you were going ballistic, to be fair.
We've missed a penalty. Madrid have got a penalty. Rice has got a yellow card, so he's suspended for the semis if we get through. It's all going Pete Tong. I was a bit annoyed at how it took forever, the decision, but in fairness to the ref, he admitted he made the mistake there. He went to the monitor after all that time, said no penalty, yellow card was rescinded. Thank the Lord for that. We're but yeah, it wasn't a penalty, but I'm just glad that that was over. But it was 6 minutes of my life where
it wasn't. It wasn't the best time, was it? Let's be fair.
And it was only like 20 minutes. It was only in the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, it was.
Said 90 minutes at the Bernabeu was long. I can see what they meant by that, around that time.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I saw that social media post and thought, oh, that's a bit cocky, isn't it? But I suppose I wouldn't expect anything less, to be fair. I mean, you could say 90 minutes at the Emirates might have been a long time for them, but yeah.
But it certainly felt the first half was a long time. I can say that, with 7 minutes of added time, which you expected because of the penalty decision.
Yeah.
How long it took, but it was certainly a long first half. So in fairness, they were right about that. But it may have been a long time for them as the result of the scoreline.
There's one thing I do want to bring up before we go into the second half. There's 2 points I want to make. Right on half time, Declan certainly got his composure back, because he looked like he might have actually lost the plot a little bit following that unnecessarily yellow card. That was actually rescinded, so fair play to him. Back in possession, managed to find Martinelli, who had an effort that went towards the near post. Another great save, Thibaut Courtois. I want to say, if it wasn't for Courtois, and very much regarded as one of the very best in the business at this moment, if it wasn't for him, last week's scoreline might have been even bigger. We might have even gone in. We might have even gone in 1-0 up at half time here.
He made a double save at the Emirates, I remember.
He certainly did. He made a lot of saves at the Emirates. Yeah. I think he made 7-8. But the one at the near post at the Bernabeu yesterday to keep it at 0-0, it might have been maybe expected for him to make that save. But I think in terms of the game setup for Madrid, if they'd have gone in 0-0, they would have thought, okay, so we might need to make a change or two here, there. And you know what they're like. They've got a reputation of coming back from these big deficits. They've done it a couple of times already this season. So he made the save, and we've gone in 0-0. Unusually for me, Posh, made a tweet at half time, and I said pretty much in the likes of 0-0 at half time. I take that because of the advantage from last week. I don't know if Madrid really threatened us that much, other than that potential penalty.
That was, people may have said, oh, Real Madrid were very poor. That is right to an extent, but I think a factor of them being poor was down to how controlled how structured, how very, very well organised we were defensively.
Absolutely.
They were. Real Madrid were poor in the game, but there were cases where we made them look poor because of how well organised we were. And I mean, I'm going to sing praises of Declan Rice and Lewis Skelly a lot, but in case I forget,
Quite rightly.
I'm talking about when I'm talking about the defence. I want to get this out of the way. I want to give so much credit to Kivior, because when Gabriel was injured, we were, well, certainly me, was very fearful, because Gabriel has been one of our best, if not our best player this season before he got injured. And Kivior had to step up. We said, look, he played well against Everton, but then there's Everton and then there's Real Madrid. Both legs at the Bernabeu, he was superb and he held his own very well. So full credit to Kivior there. He was fantastic. I thought it was important for me to say that.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. I'll also go as far as to say I agree completely with your point on Gabriel. I think I've gone on record on the channel a couple of times saying I actually think he's probably been our most consistent player over the last maybe 2, maybe even 3 years at centre half. I think he's been incredible. And it's a massive blow, no doubt, to lose him. But Kivior, I don't think looked out of place at all. In all fairness, Madrid last week, the game against Brentford didn't really have any issues, although slightly different, and the Everton game, of course. Everton, Brentford, bit different maybe to Madrid. But be that as it may, he's been there, he's done a job, and if nothing else, and let's be fair, when Gabriel gets back to fitness, whenever that will be, I think we'll all probably expect him to go straight back in. So if nothing else, he's adding value to his name. Do you understand what I mean?
No, absolutely.
Not disrespecting him at all, because actually, on evidence of how he's played, maybe there's a place for him somewhere to get regular game time week in, week out somewhere. I don't know if that's at Arsenal or not. You'll have to ask Mikel Arteta that one, because like it or not, he's probably going to be there. But
yeah,
exactly. But
he will be. That's
a great point.
That's no surprise. He is going to be our manager next season, whether some of us like it or not. That is the case.
Absolutely right. I am gonna be.
I like that comment from AFC always. By the way, the Kiwi was ripe, not rotten, over the 2 legs. Thank you, AFC.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's good. No, he was good. He get quite rightly getting the praise that he deserves. I'm going to bring up the other comment, which is here.
Yeah.
And it says, Arteta, this is where maybe Posh might agree with you, and maybe I might not. But this is a game of opinions. So Arteta should have bought off Odegaard at halftime, bought on Ethan Nwari. Odegaard was awful. He should have been sent to the slums in Spain. Maybe a little bit harsh there, mate.
Probably won't go that far. But look, on the subject of Odegaard, so this is where the good vibes might end here, Mr. Meadows. You see, if you include the subs that were made, I believe we made 4 subs. So 15 Arsenal players were on the pitch at the Bernabeu last night. I am immensely proud of 14 of those 15 players. Look, consistently, I think since he came back, I think at first when he came back from his injury, he played quite well, Odegaard. But I think since the turn of the year, Odegaard, especially the past few games, has not been great. And you just think, is he the same now since his injury? Is that a factor? Because I'm seeing a lot of people actually say, if a big offer comes in for him, we might have to cash in and get someone like Florian Wirtz in the attacking midfield role. Someone who offers more creativity, because Odegaard doesn't offer that. Hasn't offered that. I say he did 2 seasons ago and last season, but this season is different. Is it the injury that he had? I don't know, but he has certainly not been good, and I've been very frustrated by Odegaard, and I just think, and it's going to all come back. We've not got sufficient backup for him. Wanyeri has been better when he's been playing for us. He's been better on the wings than in the middle. He probably could play there, but he's still young. He needs to be, trained in that position a bit more. But yeah, my problem with Odegaard is the fact he's got the captain's armband, and there are quite a few players in that squad that are much better leaders than him. That's the main problem I have with Odegaard. But yeah, without getting too negative, because we've just beaten Real Madrid and we should be happy. Yeah, Odegaard wasn't great, and I can say that the past few games.
Okay. Look, you're entitled to your point of view. I'll read out the comment. I've had it on the screen. Imagine having he'd take his chances and not over carry, wouldn't do all them useless flicks. Do you criticize Odegaard for trying something? I don't know. I'm not a midfield player. I've never been a midfield player. I've always been a defender. So I've never had the skills or simply the ability to do the things that Odegaard is capable of doing.
Yeah.
And you said yourself, seasons gone by, his figures are much better. Absolutely right. I'm not going to over criticize him. I don't think he was used.
No.
I don't think he had a fantastic game, but I think he had. If I was going to rate him on a scale of a 1 to 10, I'd give him a 7. And I say that mainly because of what I'm going to bring up in the second half.
Okay.
Because there are things that he did in the second half. I've certainly got a couple of moments that he did something good with. I'm not saying everything he did was perfect. I'm not saying that before AFC Always or anybody else wants to say, oh, you're talking out your bottom again, Lee. But it's a game of opinions. And do you know what? I think some of your criticism toward Odegaard, and I'm not having a dig at you because I wouldn't dream of that. It's because I think you've got a lot of love for the little gem in the midfield, which is actually Declan Rice, right? And you'd probably give that armband to him.
Different positions.
Let me finish. And you're right. You're right. You're different positions, but different style of captains as well. Because whereas I think Declan might be quite vocal, I don't necessarily think Odegaard is necessarily that vocal. Is more of at his best, a lead by example kind of captain. Do you understand what
the problem is? He's not even doing that the past few games.
Yeah, and I understand your point there. I do understand your point. But as I'm going to try and explain to you, there are moments certainly leading to the first goal and certainly coming towards the end of the game where he certainly was having an influence on the game. I don't think his passing was terrible. I don't think that. If I thought something was terrible, I would let you know. Because that's how I am. I've always... Yes, you want to say something, don't you?
You said how, there are moments where, Odegaard had a good moment. Well,
yeah.
There was a very important moment in the game. You mentioned Rice. There was a moment in the game where I was like, he needs the captain's armband ASAP. And I think we'll get to that in a minute. the Thomas Partey thing. But yeah.
Oh, do you mean on the booking thing, right?
We'll get to that. We'll chronologically critique, as a certain Western
yes.
would say.
I've missed you, Posh. I've missed you. Right. Okay. So let me get into what I was trying to allude to. So, and I must admit, I think the goggles were taking over at this stage because I actually thought Mr. Odegaard got an assist here, but he was very much in the centre of the play, leading to maybe. Oh, you just mentioned OSW, a redemption arc, ladies and gentlemen, for Bukayo. So let me just get this right. So Mikel Mourinho gets a flicked header to Saka. There's a bit of a 1-2 between Saka and Odegaard. Really nicely played. Then Rice 1-2 there. Plays to Mourinho. Then he slips it to Bukayo Saka, who just launches this beautiful chip, bit better than the one from the penalty kick, past Timo Courtois, and gives it the full Thierry Henry number 14 treatment.
You see, this is why he did the Panenka. He was practicing for the second half. No,
he was luring him into a false sense of security. That's what it was.
It's long-term booking. So I think
yes.
So it was Marino who got the assist. He had a very good game, by the way, Marino. I mean, I'll go as far to say he's been a better number 9 than a certain other striker that we have in the team. But I think, or had in the team, in the case of a certain Palace player.
What? Don't even mention his name.
Yeah, got sent off recently, didn't he?
I know, I saw.
Yeah, it was a brilliant pass from Marino. For a minute, whilst everyone else was going crazy, I kind of held off my celebrations a bit because I thought Saka looked offside. But there was a question of offside for a little bit, but he wasn't. And that's when I was like, finally, here we go. It's 4-0 on aggregate. We're ahead at the Bernabeu. Shades of Henry. Look at that. He gave the fans the shushing. What could possibly go wrong?
Great setup. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what could go wrong. About 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, and I have no idea what the dickens went on here. Mistake. So this is what I've written down. Mistake, and I could have said an awful lot worse than that. Between Raya and William Saliba, a mistake of Saliba. Can you believe this?
Yeah.
Right? Who just presents the ball to Vinicius Jr. And, you know, if you just want to say, yeah, all right, go on then, mate. Go and have a go. Go and have a goal.
Did he feel, he felt sorry for them? He felt sorry for them. That's what it was. No, I think, you know, from out of nowhere, and you should see a lot of the compilations of the watch-alongs of the Arsenal reactors because they're all going, oh, this is brilliant. Huh? And, yeah, I was
watching on my way to work.
Yeah, but yeah, if of all the players to make mistakes, you can't have Saliba doing that. You're not at Real Madrid just yet, William. No, that's but
oh, don't say that. What are you doing?
I'm not. That's no. It's a case where Saliba shouldn't be making those mistakes because he's one of those players where if he has a bad game, then everyone else will end up having a bad game because Saliba is a huge, great player in our team, and he's part of what has made our defense so solid the past few years when he's been in the team. Yeah. He's a big factor in that, and when he gives
an X factor. Sorry.
And just looking at AFC always comments, Saliba got caught napping. He did. You can't, even though you were 4-0 up on aggregate, can't make those mistakes. And I had a feeling that we've here comes another wrestling reference. We've woken the beast, and no, don't mention his name. I meant the beast from the chase. That's what I meant.
Got ya.
So when you awake the giant, you can't. That's a problem. But thankfully, the mistake didn't affect us at all. We went back into our usual controlled shape that we went into for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
And we ended up nullifying Madrid defensively. Now I said this was one of the best, if not, I don't want to say the best because of the error from Saliba, but it was one of the best defensive performances from us, most organised performances from us I've ever seen. Usually I'm not an advocate for a park the bus, big defensive, let's just hold everyone back football. But in this case, we needed to do it, and we were so organised and so brilliant. And it was just fantastic. I'm so glad the mistake from Saliba didn't affect us, because a few seasons ago it probably would have.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what I think? I think the phrase you're probably looking for is that they managed the game really well after that conceding of that stupid goal. I literally have nothing written down here for the next 15 minutes until until my next mention of your favourite player, the captain, comes up. So yeah, I'll just and this is very, very much worth a point. Let me try. Why has StreamYard made this difficult for me now?
I know the Guna Gathering logo seems to have gone. So
I've turned it off.
It's still on there. It's fine.
I've turned it off because it was flashing, mate.
Okay. It wasn't flashing on my screen, but that's all right. That's fine. Don't worry.
We're still on air. It's in the words of The Simpsons. It's still good. It's still good. Lewis Skelly's composure is ridiculous. Yes, it is.
My God.
I mean, 18-year-old kid playing in the midfield at the Bernabeu doing a display like that. I mean,
words.
I don't know, seeing someone come in from youth ranks, right, to make, and maybe a little unexpectedly, because there's other people. Ethan Nwari got much more fanfare coming in before Lewis Skelly did. And in fact, if you remember correctly, this gentleman here called him to play at left back before he'd made his debut. Remember that?
Did I say Lewis Skelly to?
I think this would have been Manchester City, wouldn't it? Because I don't think we had any options.
I didn't call for him to start. Absolutely not. But I mean, you had no option. I think Ben White got injured midway through the game, and I think he came on against City at the Etihad, which was quite a ballsy move from Arteta, considering it was Man City. And remember he got in the face of Haaland, and City were never the same since.
Stay humble, eh?
Oh no.
Good times.
Well, but yeah. I can't put into words how impressed the whole season I've been with Miles Lewis Skelly. He had the odd hiccup against West Ham, but apart from that, he's learned from that, and his composure, as AFC always said, is amazing. Oh my God. I'm lost for words. He's 18 years old, and he looks like one of the most experienced players on the pitch. By the way, Miss Molina, good to see you. As Miss Molina's here, actually, sorry for going off on this tangent. I know that we know a wrestling channel of our own, but I want to plug a certain gentleman who's been in our chat, Mr. Tom, the Leeds fan.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a channel called Mr. Tom Talks Wrestling. He's going to be live tonight, I think, at about 10 p.m. It's always a great show, and Miss Melina was a guest on his channel, and that's how I knew she liked wrestling.
Hey,
I was saying, when we had her on the channel, you were
Yeah.
saying to me, right, we've got Miss Melina on. I want this to be very professional, so
Yes.
keep the wrestling references to a minimum. Little did we know she's a big wrestling fan. So, yeah, Miss Melina, good to see you. Yes. Anyway,
Exchange
Lewis
the kisses
Kelly was
back.
fantastic.
Well, look, we love you, Miss Melina. Thank you very much for being here. AFC always in there. He's getting cocky. Arteta got Don Carlo the sack.
I think there are rumours that I think he's going to be leaving at the end of the season.
Do you know who I've heard might be getting that job?
Klopp.
Miss Melina in the chat. I love wrestling. Oh, we need to talk wrestling. Let's do a Desert Island Graps with you then. Please, will you cover the women's game against Lyon on Saturday? Now, this is difficult. Unfortunately, we definitely are going to be covering it at some stage on the channel. But unfortunately, I think two of my experts, certainly at least one of them anyway, are going to be at the game. Sam is going to be at the Emirates. Yours truly has got a day job to do, unfortunately, and I won't be home. I won't be off the clock until 2:00 on Saturday. But I will definitely. I'd love to bring it all live. I can't. I'm afraid. I tell you who I will shout out though. Actually, I don't know if he's doing it as well. He might be. I think True Gooner's up there as well. Actually, thinking about it, because Josh is up there too. So look, I'd love to, but I can't be in two places at once. If you understand what I mean. But we do continue to bring everything at the very least a match report. Matt was kind enough to put a match report up for us for the Leicester game from the other day. So, yeah, I'm sure you'll understand. Thank you, Miss Melina. She says, I understand completely. Yeah, bless you, Miss Melina. Thank you. Right. Yeah, AFC always saying that Don Carlo will be leaving next week after the Copa del Rey final between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Well, that's news to me. I mean, I suppose that's speculation in the news, right?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't know if anything's been confirmed yet, but
okay.
Well, it's all rumour and innuendo, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's carry on with my notes, if you don't mind.
Yep.
And then maybe we'll talk WrestleMania in a little bit as well, just for a laugh. So there was an effort where Martin Odegaard got very, very much involved in the play. After Arsenal actually controlled quite a big period of this game following the Madrid goal. And this effort could have made the last 10 minutes a little bit easier, to be fair. Odegaard did have a curling effort that did go wide of Courtois' goal. It was close, but probably the big man had it covered, but it was an effort worth talking about anyway. Maybe getting more confidence into his abilities and stuff. I don't know. You tell me, Posh. Am I wrong or am I right?
What was this about? Because I've been distracted by a Europa League score.
Tell me the score, and then I'll go for it.
So, sadly, Tottenham are 1-0 up against Frankfurt. Dominic Solanke penalty on the stroke of half-time.
Okay.
Man United are 1-0 up against Lyon. So, imagine if the Europa League final is Tottenham versus Man United. All I'm going to say to that is, you better win the Champions League, Arteta, if that's the case. Anyway.
Cool, you turn, man. It's like your eyes go evil.
I can't have Tottenham. No. Anyway. So
No.
I don't care if we're in the Champions League and they're in the Europa League. They'll still win a European trophy. And if we anyway, what was that about Courtois?
Making the big save from Erdegaard, curling effort,
Right,
10 minutes to go. He probably had it well covered anyway. I actually thought it was an effort worth covering. If nothing else, it wasted a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think famous last words at that time, but it was all said and done. It was around the 84th minute, around that time. But as long as we have the ball, it's all right.
80 minutes exactly. I've got it written down.
Oh, lovely.
See, I'm a professional, you see, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. But yeah, Man United Tottenham final should be Dumb and Dumber. Yes, well, there you go. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll bring up a comment here. This is referring to Don Carlo. It's Carlo.
Oh, okay. So it is official. Well, unless they discuss rumours as well.
Or is it them speculating on journalists making a point in the Spanish press? Perhaps that's possibly what I think it might be. Right?
Yeah.
So there we go. I'll say this now. Everything that Ancelotti's achieved in the game is just one of the very, very best. And some of us might have wanted him to come into the club before.
He was available when Emery got sacked. I remember.
Absolutely. But things work out for a reason, perhaps. I don't know. You tell me.
Who knows where he would have been if Ancelotti was our manager? It's a what if, isn't it?
It is.
He went to Everton instead.
Exactly, and we go for maybe a bit of a wild card kind of option with Arteta. It's been an interesting journey, I'll say that much.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see if we get our hands on the big prize.
Well,
this season.
Do you know what? You know me. I'm not gonna. I'm one game at a time for me. We know what we have to deal with. We know what we have to deal with. We'll get to that in a minute. There's two things I probably want to talk about first before we get there. What's he saying in the chat? Man United versus Tottenham in the final should be called Dumb versus Dumb.
I read that out.
Thank you. Right. Let's get to our winning goal. This is the moment of about 2 minutes beforehand when it was getting too much for me. And I thought, we ain't going to win this game, are we? But it's going to draw. And I thought, okay, I only put £1 on. I'll get a bit of money back, right? And yours truly might have had a lemonade or two. And I thought, I really need to go to the loo. So it's probably my fault that Mikel Merino managed to put Gabriel Martinelli through with a great pass. Martinelli occupying a centre-forward position here to score on the break. Did you realise what Arteta had done here? He put Mikel Merino deeper into a maybe more natural midfield position, and he was the one who set Mr. Gabriel Martinelli through for the goal. Tell me your thoughts on that.
So there's a part of the game you have missed, sir. And I think it's important we talk about that. And
okay, go ahead.
It's the Thomas Partey yellow card. So this means... no, it was before.
You're right. I have got it written down. It's my next note.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about that before we get to the grand finale. Partey got a yellow card, and that's because he would be because of that he'll be missed for the PSG game in the semi-final.
First leg,
and this is the reason why Declan Rice should be the captain. When Partey got the yellow card, did you see Rice's reaction?
I did.
When he did that, he was furious with him. He was looking at him going, "What on earth did you do that for?" And I just thought, all right, some people may have thought, oh, why is he trying to fight his own player or whatever? It wasn't like that. It was hardly Kieran Dyer and Lee Bowyer, wasn't it?
It wasn't punches thrown. No, I remember that, mate.
But Rice, you could tell the frustration. See the frustration in Rice. I think This is why he should be the captain. He's a leader. He's going up to his player and going, what do you do that for? You've just made a big mistake there.
Mm-hmm.
That is a perfect example of why I said Declan Rice is captain material, and that's why he should be the captain rather than Odegaard. I'm going to keep banging that drum because it's obvious in my view. He's a natural leader. Worth noting as well, someone else made a very interesting point regarding yellow cards. Timber was on the verge of being booked, and he could have been suspended for the semi-final, but the free kick that Real Madrid were awarded, they took quickly. The ref was about to reach out in his pocket to give Timber a yellow card. Real Madrid quickly took the free kick, so the ref thought, oh, okay, right, all right, go on then. That,
Okay.
well, I think I kind of saw that, so that might be, maybe that was a coincidence, I don't know, but yeah.
Worth getting it out there, mate. I mean, yeah, fair enough. You know, I respect people's views, of course. I think I said it already. I don't deny your views on Rice being a leader in there. Absolutely not. I mean, he was West Ham captain for a long time for a reason,
captain
wasn't
England in the past as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you don't necessarily have to have the armband to be a leader. You can have all sorts of leaders in the side. It'd be incredibly difficult, in my view, if you have someone who's been club captain for a number of years, for all of a sudden that player to be shunted out the armband if he's still playing in the lineup. You're going to say, oh, but just drop him. But I don't think you realise the importance of in being in that midfield. You're gonna disagree with me, and I'm cool with that.
No, I want this to be a positive video. I don't want to be negative on certain players.
It's not a negative. It's not a negative at all, because what we're doing is I think you're praising Declan Rice's abilities as a leader, and I get that completely. I also make the point that I think Odegaard, when he's running on four cylinders, and again I don't go overboard in rating him, but I still think he had an okay sort of game. So. And yeah, you all probably are quite right, and I agree with it. That no, he hasn't been the same this season. He hasn't. Go season beforehand, even last season, much better figures, much more consistent. Yeah, obviously he's had a big injury, and you know what? We'll probably see the best of Odegaard next term. He'll have a break. He'll come back after pre-season training, and maybe he'll be right as rain again. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller as much as I like to claim to be.
The transfer window next season for us will be very unpredictable with Andrea Berta as our new sporting director. I'm actually quite looking forward to what he's got, because based on his work at Atletico Madrid, I think he's definitely a very good sporting director. So let's see what he's got in his locker.
I mean, I think he's had hits and misses. I don't think this is the time or the place for that discussion to have, because I haven't got the notes written down. But you're absolutely right. I expect to see some high-profile outs. We already know of one. That is Kieran going to Celtic. We already know that's happening. I'll bring him up in a minute. I want to bring him up because there's a really good point to make on the back of what you've just said.
Yeah.
But I want to do that after the goal, if you like, and then we can look ahead a little bit, right? But yeah, you're right. There is certainly a lot of work to do. I mean, I reckon we definitely need another goalkeeper. And
right.
No, seriously.
I think Raya will play. He's played like all but 2 games or 3 games. 3 games for us. He didn't play. He's been our goalkeeper all the season, and I don't want to. When we've got like positions like striker, maybe even midfielder, or that we need to fill in. I don't want to waste more money on another backup goalkeeper, because there's no point. Honestly, at this rate, I'd rather Carl Hein or Setford as our backup keeper, because I just don't want to waste more money on another backup. We've got many other positions to fill in, because Raya's going to play every game for us anyway.
Just reel you in a little bit there, sir. You really did jump into my trap there, didn't you?
What?
What?
I'm just.
Well, I thought I'd just say it just to trigger you, and it worked.
I'm just stating facts.
Facts. No, so no. All right, I'll briefly cover this, because obviously Neto's going to go. Clearly, he's going to go back to. Yeah, I'm not sure his contract situation. I'm not sure if he's going back to Bournemouth or free agent time. I'm not sure. Carl Hein away on loan. He's having a very much. I don't think he's having the best of times out in Spain.
Right,
okay. And you might have expressed concerns there. Prior to him, right?
I think last season I called him the ketchup bottle because of his surname. But yeah,
you just like calling people names, Posh. It's not very nice. I'm joking, obviously.
I would never call you a name. Remember Goon Love?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, thanks for that. Anyway. So and we looked at the likes of Setford, who's what, 19. I do think an experienced backup will be needed. I don't think it's at the top of the list. Clearly, there's going to be other players. Obviously, we know like the Zubamendi thing, which is still expected to go down according to the people like, Ornstein and the likes, right? The striker debate will roll and roll. I mean, clearly Marino is a fantastic number 9. You can't deny he's had a role to play in this season, and when he's played up there, he's had an impact.
Short term. He's worked in the short term.
And I see here. This is where I was. We may debate in a bit, because where might he play against PSG? Right. Get where I'm cooking there. But 2 assists in the Bernabeu, you can't deny that. Right. Did we cover everything? Did we cover Martinelli's goal?
We haven't talked about Martinelli yet.
No, we need to cover Martinelli's goals.
We do.
Because you got my format and you just tore it to shreds like that. You did. You just got the whole format and say, no, not doing that. So
because the party yellow card happened before the goal. Chronologically critiquing.
Oh, all right then. Okay. So tell me about your feelings on the tactical player and Marino putting Martinelli through, literally taking the last bit of gas I think he had in the tank to get the winning goal.
The game was done anyway, but this is just the cherry on the cake. Brilliant from Marino. That's 2 assists for him.
Yes.
Brilliant. And there are many moments that our Arsenal fans look back on, even though some of these moments don't lead to any silverware. There are moments in which Arsenal fans can think about. When you think of iconic Arsenal moments, you think about Henry at the Bernabeu, Reece Nelson's last gasp winner against Bournemouth. They're iconic Arsenal moments. This is one of them.
In the same breath as the Henry one?
Well, you know what I mean.
Okay.
You talk about iconic Arsenal moments. that get limbs, get the fans all excited and everything like that. Yes,
Go on, say it.
Hands in the air, get the Arsenal fans excited, and Martinelli at the Bernabeu is one of them, and it'll be something that fans will talk about for a long time. I just hope that this moment leads to us winning the Champions League. I really hope so. But yeah, what a moment. One-on-one. Very similar to, do you remember Fernando Torres for Chelsea when he scored against Barcelona?
Oh, the Gary Neville moment.
The Gary Neville one when he had an orgasm.
That one.
Yeah. That was the only time when he made that stupid noise and it worked. It was sort of like that.
I don't think Mrs. Neville agrees.
One-on-one with the keeper, and it was brilliant. What a goal! It was fantastic. It's just an iconic moment that we will talk about for a while, and I hope it leads to something.
Yeah, and of course, it won't mean a thing if we don't get through PSG.
Exactly.
Right. So, but what do we have to fear? Because we beat them earlier in the competition.
Yes, I think they had a few injuries. I think.
Don't you start with the injury thing. Look at Arsenal right now.
Well, very true, but we've got our players back. We've got Saka and Martinelli back now.
Yeah, but we're missing Havertz and Jesus. Lethal partnership there.
Yeah, well,
don't laugh.
We're not going to get into Kai Havertz because he's not in the team at the moment. No. So it's going to be, there's a Champions League group game and then there's a Champions League semi-finals, and PSG, whilst Aston Villa gave them a huge run for their money, they did look impressive, especially on the counter-attack. Yeah. I'm just saying, thank God we're not playing against Aston Villa, because the thought of us getting humbled by Unai Emery again in the Champions League semi-final haunts me. And they nearly did it, Villa. They nearly got to the semi-final, but
nearly ain't good enough, mate, is it?
No,
he didn't get the job done.
No, but PSG were very good. They're very good on the counter-attack, PSG, but so are we to an extent.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you mentioned the PSG game, so you were talking about that we're going to miss Thomas Partey for the game. Hopefully that will be the only miss that we'll have. No more injuries to our team or suspensions. What I would do is I'd still play Mourinho up front, but I would have Kieran Tierney at left back and Lewis Skelly in midfield. Whether Arteta actually does that remains to be seen, but he's finally realised that Zinchenko is a midfielder. So hopefully he can't rule out Lewis Skelly in midfield.
Really? You're coming full throttle with me on that one, are you? And
I would have Tierney at left back and Lewis Skelly in midfield against PSG.
Okay, good argument. Really good argument. Excuse me, I'm just going to power up my my laptop because I want to make sure I see everything here right.
Okay.
Right. Let me just pop that in my ear so I can hear you. Right. So yeah, okay. This is where we'll go from here then. Options with Thomas Partey's, as I described it on my notes, as stupid yellow card when Rudiger, Antonio Rudiger lured him in on that one. I think there are several options. You mentioned one of them. I'll give you another one, and I kind of suggested it there. What about Mikel Merino, like he is normally by trade? And don't worry, AFC always. I have seen you comment. I will get to you. Going back to his defensive midfield kind of position, and then maybe you're looking at perhaps Trossard coming in, maybe Martinelli running down the middle.
So, I didn't want this to be a full, because we've just beaten Real Madrid, I didn't want this to be a full Arteta criticism stream, but I can't see Arteta playing Martinelli at number 9 purely because it's what Emery used to do, and in Arteta's mind, if you do something your predecessor does, it's admitting defeat. That's what I think. That's what Arteta's logic is with not playing Martinelli at number 9. So that's how I don't think I can see Martinelli up front. So I'd love it. I'd be great. It'd be great if Martinelli was up front. I think that's probably his best position. But from a realistic point of view, I think Mourinho's been in form, and Lewis Skelly likes to invert, as they say. I think I'd be tempted with the idea of having Lewis Skelly in the midfield, because that's actually his natural position.
It is. Absolutely it is. And yeah, I saw him play there. What was the point I just made to you a little bit ago? That there was a tactical switch in the play. Marino ended up deeper than anybody else to pick up the ball, who played Gabriel Martinelli in for the goal. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
I think that was quite deliberately. I think that was quite deliberate, you know, because Saka was off the field at this time.
Yeah.
I think we had Trossard a little bit behind Martinelli. You might disagree with me, but that's how I saw it tactically. How we done it, and put Marino a little bit further deeper.
Yeah. True.
Thank you.
It's something to think about. I think there are many ways. Yeah, there are many other ways we can go for the team lineup against PSG. But as long as we win, that's all that matters. AFC Away says, I prefer to play Barcelona in the final than Inter Milan. I think both will be tough, but we'll have to see. We'll have to get to the final first.
Perfect point. As much as we beat them in the league stage, home and away, as they said in that Aussie soap, we need to. It might be a different game. It's knockout football is a strange old thing. I've said it before on this channel, and it'll be interesting to see how we set up for it. I don't know the extent of Jorginho's injury. That might be a key thing where an experienced player to fill in for Partey. Similar sort of role in there, maybe, is another option.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, it concerned me when he went off against Brentford.
Yeah,
I don't know the score with him.
Even if he was available, I think when Spencer was on, when I made my triumphant return, and Spencer was there, he said it best about Jorginho. The brain of Jorginho is brilliant, but the body isn't working for him anymore in terms of football. That's the concern. And even if he was fit enough to play, when you've got PSG have got a lot of pacey players on the wings and on the counter. I don't want a very slow Jorginho having to chase after them.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that completely. What I will do before
New name in the chat.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hussein Baziert says, need another box-to-box midfielder.
Well, nice to have you in there. Another box-to-box it is absolutely on the cards, isn't it? Posh alluded to a little bit ago, this is going to be a very interesting transfer window in the summer. I suspected this, with AFC always comment saying a broken rib. That's what it looked like to me. Having gone for a broken rib myself. You remember, Posh?
Yes, although Jorginho was playing football and didn't fall on an e-scooter.
No,
e-scooter, I should say.
I mean, what sort of idiot would do something like that?
Oh, dear.
I think AFC always makes another good comment somewhere. I think I've lost it. Hang on a minute.
Was this about the Martinelli goal?
No, this is about. Don't worry about the league. It's here.
Forget the league. I don't care if we finish second or fourth. We should put all our eggs in one basket and go and win the Champions League. Champions League football for us isn't guaranteed at the moment. I mean, that we'd have to like lose all of our games in the league for us to do that, but it's still not guaranteed. Newcastle are 4 points behind us. They beat Palace yesterday. Yep, sorry.
Technically, I think you might actually be wrong there because there's an extra place. I think it's going down to 5 now.
Okay.
Because of Arsenal's win against Madrid, I think, and that there's all sorts of speculation I did see, but I'm pretty sure that we might be guaranteed an extra place anyway. I do get AFC always, and what you're saying there, and what I'm thinking, because I believe, having just booted up my laptop here, so we've got Ipswich Town on Sunday for the 2:00 kickoff, and I do expect a good few changes to happen on that. You would imagine the likes of Saka would be taken out here. You would imagine maybe Martinelli would be taken out here because, frankly, he even said it himself. He just run his heart out.
Yeah.
And you've got the likes of Trossard and Nawari perhaps to come in there. I do expect them to make a few changes. You do make a good point, though. I mean, I still want to keep us honest, and there's one thing about getting the qualification for the Champions League, and there's another thing getting the automatic into the proper stages of it. If you understand what I mean. Now I might be wrong. But I want to double check my facts. But if we finish second, it's that's an automatic. You're in to the, that massive big old group like we had, and it's still hard for me to fathom because I'm not a fan of this new system at all. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, I can't do anything about it. But I don't know how the system is in terms of automatic qualification into first round proper. There are still qualifying stages. I'm pretty sure there'll be like the champions of Ireland and all this going up to, like TNS or whoever it is, and Wales as well, going and going for the other smaller places into the big competition, if you see what I mean.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure it's an awful lot easier if you're having to automatically qualify. Therefore, you can actually have your pre-season preparation properly. Just do you know what I mean? Rather than that getting interrupted by a big old banana skin, which could potentially get you falling before you even get started.
Yeah.
Just trying to put the brake on and trying to get the realistic head on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not getting ahead of myself. That's what I'm trying to get at. Did I ever miss anything?
Yeah, Hussein says, bring someone from the academy maybe. What do you think of the possibility of bringing Osimhen in the summer window? He's an option. Of course, striker's going to be the main position that we want to try and get. Osimhen is an option, but the striker I prefer, I'd love Isak, but that's going to be unrealistic now.
Yeah.
Gyökeres is the one I want.
The penalty expert, right?
Penalty expert. Yeah, he's a good striker.
He is. He's what I'm saying is he's got a lot of goals. He's got a lot of penalty kicks in his repertoire. Got a lot of goals in the season in Portugal. I'd argue for the sake of argument's sake, championship proven. I don't know how he's going to do in Premier League. None of us do.
No.
Until he makes a big step. That it could happen. It might not do. In terms of the academy,
again, you don't know how Benjamin Sesko would do in the Premier League. You don't know how Osimhen would do in the Premier League. So,
again, AFC always say Gyökeres is a goal machine.
Yep.
And it is the thing. It's going to divide opinion.
Mm.
Nice to see another bot in the Twitch chat. Out of the academy, I would suggest you, knowing what I know, that There are only a couple I think there's really a long-term plan with. I think in terms of the academy, I'd have to talk about to Emerson, uh, one of our colleagues here, who's much more of an expert on this field than I am. But I mean, Max Dalmond is the outstanding talent in the youth ranks, and I think a lot of the talent that are there are running out of in terms of they're running into the last couple of months worth of contract. We talk about people that have perhaps gone into the let me just try and get a name or two just to make it a little bit easier for me to talk about. Hang on, just give me a click or two and I'll give you a couple which I know about, like because I don't want to say something that's wrong. Right. So the likes of people like the 22-year-old kid that came on has played literally about 30 seconds for Arsenal. His name's Nathan Butler-Jay. He's also been given high billing in terms of Premier League 2 action. That's the under-21 league, I think. My understanding is he's out of contract. And the thing is, at 22, compared to a lot of people who might have played a little bit longer, like the likes of Ethan Nwari and Niles Lewis-Skelly, people that have already got a whole lot of miles in the tank in terms of Premier League action. That seems like a long way down the line for him to Premier League debut. He may well have a goal-filled career ahead of him. It may well be. What sort of level is it going to be? If they don't feel and it's not necessarily Arteta, it's the people that manage the academy think, I'm not sure if he's going to get up there or not. They won't recommend him to go up there or not. I don't know. It's just something we'll keep an eye on and we'll report on. And certainly, I'll keep an eye on if he makes a big move. I'm sure I'll see him. I mean, there are other names. Cabia is one who's signed a youth contract, the Netherlands guy, who's made a couple of appearances on the bench. Charles Sanogo Jr. is another one. He's an outstanding talent. But there's also a few others who may not necessarily go the whole hog with it. We'll see. I don't want to go too much further down the line on this.
And there's the centre back Maldini, who's enjoying life in Kent at the moment. He's at Bromley.
Right? How's he getting on?
I've no idea. I just know that he went to Bromley on loan.
Okay.
So, yeah. Bromley have got Maldini. So there you go.
There you go. What a statement that is.
There you go.
Right. So yeah. I think we're just about there for where we need to be today, right? Because we've covered the game. I think we've covered a couple of thoughts, perhaps, in replacing Thomas Partey. I mean, you say maybe putting Lewis-Skelly into midfield, Kieran Tierney going in. I think maybe Marino going deeper, maybe another attacking player, perhaps like Trossard or Nawari coming in, might be the one to go forward. I think, unless there's anything else you can think of, mate, I think that pretty much would wrap us up, don't you think?
Yeah, that's fine. Other than, I'm very proud of Arsenal. Do you know what? Actually, because I want to make sure, and you're gonna love this. You'll love it. I want to make sure I give plenty of credit to Mikel Arteta for how he set up tactically. That we made Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid, yes, they were poor, but I think again, that's the case of us being so defensively organised. We made them look poor, and the way we were organised, the way we were set up defensively, our structure, everything. Mikel deserves so much credit for that. It's I'd go as far to say a tactical masterclass from Mr. Arteta. I really hope that pays off, because he needs to, especially if blooming Tottenham get into a Europa League final, Please, Arteta, win this trophy. Come on. Hands
And
in
then-
the air. Get the cat excited. Win it.
Absolutely. And then we can have a Newcastle United like trophy parade, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we're looking forward to. Couple of comments I will bring up before we wrap. And AFC always just wants to say it's good to see Posh Bertie back on the channel. And I did make the point of saying that Posh, you was actually the one who reminded me that he changed his name so we could get him back with us. So muchas gracias for Posh Bertie for that. Is there anything else I need to see there? I said the idea from Hassan, the idea would be Isaac Premier League proven, would be worth the extra millions and millions. The problem is, I mean, if you thought Declan Rice was a lot of money, you're probably talking a lot more money than we paid for Rice for that.
Also,
But
I think Newcastle are going to get Champions League football next season.
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. They've certainly got
Europa. If that was the case, if Newcastle dropped out of the Champions League places, then there might be a potential question over Isak's future. But ultimately, I think he's there. He's here to stay in Newcastle, especially after they've won the Carabao Cup. Yeah.
And talking of Newcastle, I just want to say best wishes to Eddie Howe as well, who's gone down with pneumonia and he's not a very well man at the moment. So hope he gets well soon.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we have been going for nearly an hour and a half, and do you know what? Do you know what, mate? It's like old times, isn't it, mate? Thank you very much for joining us back on the channel today, mate. I will ask you, because I ask all our guests. What have you got coming up, mate?
Nothing. Right. But if you want to see my me going through all the motions while watching Arsenal, you can find me on Twitter at Posh Bertie, and my Instagram is at Bertie Wanless. Do not follow me in real life because that's a little bit weird.
Absolutely, it is. And just keep an eye on our social medias for when we go live next, because I have no idea, to be honest, what we're going to do next. Where's the big old banner with the social medias gone? I can't see. Is it that one there? It might be. There it is. So, of course, you can find me, of course, at Goonly Mead. You can find us at the channel at Goon and Gathering. And, keep an eye on what we're going to be doing next. Of course, we've got Ipswich coming up on Sunday. If I'm free, I might be able to do the watch along, but we'll have to see what happens. I will get in touch with the people in the team, and we'll let you know when we know. But that wraps us up for today. Posh Bertie, thank you again for being back on the channel. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching us either live or on demand. And if you've got this far on your way up, please hit that like button. Please subscribe and all that sort of stuff. Thank you for watching our channel. Up the Arsenal. Come on, let's get to the next round. Semi-final, here we come. Bring on Ipswich at Portman Road. See you later, everyone. Good night. See you later.